Hey there, Crystal Thompson here for Simon Says Stamp. Today I have some very easy floral cards with the newest November 2020 card kit called Big Things Autumn. We're going to begin with this super easy Copic colored card. We're going to be using several of the components of the kit. First up is the awesome Simon Says Stamp Gratitude Sentiment Strip Sheet. Then we're going to be using the large thanks from the Big Things Autumn 6x8 clear stamp set. This kit is going to sell out. Then I'm going to use the awesome Simon Says stamp, and this is the AUDREY blue scorecard notebooks, and I have already stamped my image from the Big Things Autumn, and I colored it with Copics, and then I did some flickering into the outer part of the floral just to create a background, and then added little dots. And I did this while watching a movie. I thought it'd be super easy to come in and make a card. Then using some roller adhesive, I placed it onto that AUDREY blue scored note card included in the kit. Grabbing the Simon Says Stamp watermark embossing ink, I'm going to stamp that large thanks, and I'm just going to hold it down for a couple seconds to allow the cardstock to grab a hold of that embossing powder. I'm going to lift this, and then I'm going to bring in a very cool bronze embossing powder. It's going to look kind of like a penny, and I'm going to place it all over that thanks, dropping it into a piece of cardstock that is later going to be allow me to put that embossing powder back into my container. I'm going to heat set this, and then we can move on to continuing our card. So we're going to let that sit and cool off for just a little bit. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to trim the sentiment from the Gratitude Sentiment Strip. And if you've never used this before, so they're pre-printed sentiments in a really thick piece of cardstock. They're really awesome, and it's a great way to overcome having a bunch of stamp sets. And I love how Simon has coordinating these to the sentiments on the stamp set. So again, a really cool and easy way. And then you can even ink blend them or color them. The cardstock's really, really thick. So I'm using my Fiskars trimmer, and it has a little what would you call it, it's not a line, it's a metal line, I guess, and it shows you where you're cutting. That way you know that you're going to be trimming properly. There you go. Can you see the little metal? And that way you know that's where you're gonna cut. So I'm gonna remove that, and I'm using the So Grateful For You. I'm going to add a little piece of adhesive onto the back, and I'm just trying to zoom it in. There we go. So you can see what it looks like. It's tiny. Once that is ready to go, I've added a piece of foam adhesive to the back, and I'm going to place it right under that thanks, centering that under the thanks. And you could even make this a one-layer card if you chose to. That thanks sentiment is really neat, and you can just add flat adhesives to the So Grateful For You, and it wouldn't need any more additional adhesives, since it would be a one-layer card. And last but not least, I am embellishing with the included autumn sequin mix. And again, this mix of sequins is included in the kit. So again, one card made with the contents. Super fun way to use some florals and Copic coloring. Next up, we are moving on to using the pattern papers from the kit. So this kit includes 12 double-sided sheets of P13, the Four Seasons Autumn 6x6 sheet. Going to be using the large florals from the Big Things Autumn 6x8 clear stamp set, and then that awesome bluish cardstock also included in the kit. And then the kit also includes one sheet of the Desert Storm 80-pound cardstock. I have cut both the pattern paper and the Desert Storm cardstock using some scallop edge dies, and I'm going to place those together using some flat adhesive. Then in my craft stash, I had a little bit of twine, and this twine kind of looked to match Desert Storm cardstock, and using some glue dots, and these are larger glue dots, I'm going to place 2 of those onto that pattern paper, and this is going to hold down that twine. And I've come to realize that using the flat Tombow adhesive or liquid adhesive doesn't work really well, especially for something heavy duty like this, and I really want it to stay into a circle. So again, I'm going to be using those glue dots. I'm going to place the outer part of the circle on one of the glue dots, and then the other two pieces, making sure that they both get some of that glue. And don't worry, I'm going to be placing some elements so you don't see the glue dots. Next, I'm going to grab the Hello, I Missed You, and this is included in that Four Seasons Autumn 6x6 paper. I'm going to place it kind of off to the right, not quite centered. And then I have two florals of the Big Things Autumn that I had colored. Well, I had stamped, and then I had color with Copic, and then I had fussy cut around them. And I really enjoy stamping and coloring while watching a movie, and then coming back later on and assembling these cards because it makes it really, really easy, as you can see. And I'm adding some foam adhesive on the back of those florals and those leaves, and then I'm going to stick that last one, making sure that some of that twine kind of pops out, but then again, just letting that kind of, look very, very nicely. And last but not least, I'm going to embellish again with the Simon Says Stamps Autumn Sequin Mix. And this is a new autumn mix for Simon, so go grab it if you end up not being able to grab the kit. And all the products, guys, are being linked below. And I'm pretty sure this kit's going to sell out ASAP. So if you find that you still want the stamp set or these products, they are available for sale individually, but the best bet is the kit. And finishing off with some Tombow adhesive, that's that clear glue that you see, and then using my Studio Cadia jewel picker to grab that. And I love all the jewels and the colors of this card. And we're moving on to our last card today and keeping it super clean and simple, again by some bold sentiments in the florals. For this, I have that awesome floral from the Big Things Autumn that I have stamped with a light colored ink color. I think it was the ink 3. And what it does is invisible, what do they call that? Invisible coloring. I use Copics. And then I have a piece of white cardstock. I'm going to begin by splattering my white cardstock with some of this black ink. You can use even black watercolor, create a nice medium, something nice and thick, and then splatter with your brush, or such as what I'm doing here, which is black paint, and I'm just splattering it onto that cardstock. It's just going to give it a little bit of dimension to the back of this card, but it's still nice, clean, and simple. I'm going to set this aside to dry. Then I have my florals that I had mentioned earlier, had stamped them into an invisible ink, colored them with Copics, and I have fussy cut around them. I have the Thanks from the Big Things Autumn 6x8 clear stamp set. I am in love with this stamp just because it is so bold, super cool, and it really brings the whole point of the card, right? I'm going to stamp this down onto that Copic color, and I'm going to bring in some black heat embossing. And the reason why is this is going to match those black splatters that we just did. And then I'm also going to bring in some black cardstock. I love keeping all my scraps because you never know when you're going to need them. Going to finish up adding all these little embossing. I'm going to run this through my heat gun. It's going to be nice and shiny, and then we're going to let it cool off. Continuing on with our heat embossing, I'm going to heat emboss two parts of the sentiments. So the sentiment strips are going to be Just Had to Say and the For Everything You've Done For Me. And these are going to be attached to the top and bottoms of that Thanks that we just heat embossed. And for this one, we're doing it with white embossing powder, and I really liked to stamp both sentiments and then add that heat embossing powder, because then what it allows me to do is just I can put all my tools away for the heat embossing. My gun's already nice and hot, and then I can just grab my paper trimmer, trim those strips, add foam adhesive to the back, and continue putting my card together. And now we're going to begin putting our card together. I have that Thanks on top of that floral. I have some 2 layers of foam adhesive on the back. You know I love my foam adhesive. And this black foam adhesive is actually from Studio Cadia that you can buy on the Simon Says store. I have the For Everything You've Done For Me heat embossed in white onto some black cardstock. And then just had to say, and I left that quite long because I wanted to be able to turn it around, grab my scissors, and cut it to the length of the card. So being very gentle, I'm going to turn this around, use the straight edge of the card base, And then using my scissors, I'm gonna just trim that to match, and it's gonna be nice and straight if your cardstock, your card base is nice and straight. And on this one, I am not gonna do any further embellishment just because I feel that that thanks is nice and bold. And guys, that does it for me. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial using the brand new November 2020 card kit, Big Thanks Autumn. Let me know your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns down on the bottom of this video. Again, all supplies are listed in the description. These are affiliate links. So if you buy something, I get a tiny little commission on it at no additional cost to you. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys later. Have an amazing day.